I'm Chance Heels in Washington. This is Newsy Tonight. It was primary day. Now it's primary night. And two sparsely populated states could have a really big impact on the Republican Party and the United States Congress. Alaska and Wyoming, two predominantly red states with some purple Western blood still coursing through them tonight. In Wyoming, a Trump-backed attorney is fighting to unseat a vocal Republican Trump adversary in the House. And then in Alaska, can a Republican senator who voted to impeach Trump hang on? All right, the candidates, those are the ones with the names on the ballots, but many voters are focused on someone else. That would be Donald Trump. Our Newsy Tonight team is getting the pulse as votes are cast in these states. National political correspondent Alex Miller is in Jackson, Wyoming tonight, and congressional correspondent Nathaniel Reed is live in Anchorage, Alaska. Let's head over to Wyoming first, Alex, where a fierce fight is shaping up in the Republican House primary between this incumbent, Liz Cheney, who we all know, and a challenger who a lot of people don't know outside of this state. Her name is Harriet Hageman. And you found out, apparently these rivals used to call each other friend, or at least they were friendly. What happened?
Well, it seems like the former president is what really divided these two. If you look back to 2016, when Cheney was first running for Congress, Harriet Hageman was at her campaign events introducing her, calling her a principled, constitutional conservative, someone who is courageous. She said that she had the background and the experience to represent Wyoming specifically. Obviously, the tables have turned now. She said in many campaign ads that Liz Cheney betrayed the people of Wyoming, that she's somebody who could not be trusted to represent them. And really, there is not a big political difference in their belief systems, aside from the fact that one supports the former president and has his backing, and the other one does not. One other thing, Hageman was not always a Donald Trump supporter. In 2016, Chance, she supported Ted Cruz. She supported him all the way up until the convention, and she, like Ted Cruz and so many other Republicans, changed their tune, and you can see how that really has benefited her and likely will result in her win tonight.
Interesting. Okay, so is Trump now the king of Wyoming, Alex? Is it too soon to say that?
You know, I don't think it is. I think, if anything, it's been that way for at least a while. And tonight is really what is going to seal the deal. You know, when I was here last year, the committee hadn't even really gotten underway yet. It would be about a month before that would happen. And yet the people that I talked to then, the people that I talk to now, there was a lot of vitriol against Liz Cheney here. If you look even at someone like a Harriet Hageman, who once called the former president a racist and a xenophobe, now she has obviously changed her tune and is supporting the former president and has really been able to get his backing and him throwing his support behind her, having leadership. Buck, a member of their own party, sitting in Congress, getting names like Kevin McCarthy behind her, having Matt Gaetz out here in Wyoming campaigning for her. You can see the weight that the former president has here. He won this state with 70% of the vote. All of the counties in Wyoming, except for two, were deep, deep red. And so, yes, tonight will likely seal the deal and tick off another one of those Republicans who were against the former president and didn't support and supported his impeachment. But you walk around this state, at any part of the state really, and you have these really loyal Trump supporters.
Well, it's astounding, too, because Cheney, we can't forget, first of all, is a Cheney, but second of all, 18 months ago, she was number 3 in the House Republican caucus. I mean, third in charge. That is a huge fall. As you're getting out there, because you've been there a year apart, as you're getting out there, Alex, what are you hearing voters talk about? Because sometimes the national media has one idea and locals have another.
You know, I think that there is still a contingent of people who are upset with the way that Cheney has treated the former president. They're very defensive of him. There's been a lot there. There's a very anti-government sentiment here. I think just to begin with, when I was here talking about vaccines last year, there was a lot of hesitancy here. That's one of the reasons we came out here. So you still feel that anti-government sentiment, and they believe that Harriet Hageman is someone that can represent them in that capacity. She fought against the federal government in dealing with natural resources and protecting them. And when you look at the politics of these two women, they're not that different except for the former president. But that is enough for some people to change their vote. And that is really what the deciding factor is. And it's even been the deciding factor for some Democrats, Chance, because people can change their party registration during the primary up until that day. And so you had a lot of Democrats doing so, particularly where I am in Teton County, doing so to support Liz Cheney. Listen to what two voters that I met with had to say.
I switched to the Republican Party because voting as a Democrat doesn't seem to matter, usually, except for, I mean, as you vote on state level or national level. So I figured if I could vote in the primary, then at least the Republican candidate I hated the least would be able to be.
Is that, should I assume that's Liz Cheney?
Yes.
There's no question about the trend in the country among the Republican Party is for a completely different life in this United States. So she at least had enough guts to stand up for principle. And I disagree completely with almost all her, particularly her economic policies, and I've written her that.
And Chance, these men that I spoke with, they don't believe that their vote is really going to change things in the end, but they said essentially for their conscience, they felt they needed to change their party registration. They both have done so in the past, so this is nothing new to these Democrats, and they feel like this is something that they need to do, and it reflects in the voting registration numbers here. The number of Democrats in Wyoming have gone down, the number of Republicans have gone up, and the Cheney campaign attributes that to people changing their registration for her. But, you know, I was just at Cheney campaign headquarters just a little bit ago before I came on here with you, and you can tell here that they are preparing not to have a good night. They believe that this race could be called fairly quickly, and that this really is the end of the road likely for their sitting congresswoman.
Well, and I can't help but be struck that that's kind of a reflection of what Cheney has done, what those men just told you. Like, I may not make a difference, but I'm going to do what I think I should do. Alex Miller tonight in Wyoming.